It was in the early 1990s when, for some reason, perhaps it was at the time when I went self-employed, I started thinking back to my school days and the directions it thought I should take. And I thought back particularly to the fact that I'd never enjoyed a poem at all. Now and again there was the odd line that really made an impression on me. But there was one particular Sunday morning in the 1990s when on the front page of the independent newspaper, the Sunday version, there was a poem. I thought, well, I'm really going to give this a good shot. I'm really going to try. And could I understand it? Could I understand where the author, was coming from? Could I understand some of the language? No, etc., etc. And I thought, well, he's got a poetic license, but I clearly don't. And so I wrote this, and it's an edited version. It goes on for about 15 minutes in its fullness. But it's not a rant, it's an analysis. And I like to think now that I, and perhaps you, whoever you are, wherever you are, do have a poetic license. Today I read a poem which I couldn't understand. It took me back to English and the cane across my hand. 3 stings of retribution for paying no attention, as if that's all it took to solve the lack of comprehension. Perhaps they had no option, they said, I never tried, but very dimly I'd perceived my interest had died. Our masters said, these poets are the finest in the land, Milton, Hopkins, Byron, yet I failed to understand their poems locked in other worlds. I never found the key. The words were in my language, but they never spoke to me. Poetry was for others, license denied, but at least I learned a lesson. There was better stuff outside. So thank you, Buddy Holly, whose songs were in our soul, whose every word we knew and felt, who helped to make us whole, who helped the bike shed boys survive the cultured foe, despite their knowing Peggy Sue got married not long ago. Let our masters preach the classics to the fervent, feeling few. We were better off with Buddy, and Eddie Cochran too. Their songs brought us together in body, mind and word, lit up the preschool bike shed, made sense of our absurd. Oh, well, come on, everybody, and let's get together tonight. Boom, 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 boom. I got some money in my jeans, and we're really gonna spend it right. Boom, 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 boom. I've been doing my homework all the week long. Now the house is empty and my folks are gone. Woo! Come on, everybody. But little did we realise the price there'd be to pay, till news of exam failure one early autumn day. Then school was over, done with. Buddy and Eddie were dead. Most to university, some to home and bed. Contemplating futures which with hindsight I can see were based on what do you want to do, not who do you want to be. Several years of wandering, and still I didn't know. Failures had no route map to decide which way to go, so well, let's try university, better late than never. But academic ways of thought made it worse than ever. I was back to where I'd started, feeling just the same, keen to find the bike shed boys, to share a sense of shame. Then, surprise in English, success to a degree, for the gaining of such status seemed somehow just not me. But what to do with this degree, this passport, as I thought? I ended up in school again to teach what I was taught. Teaching classic poets, I was consciously afraid that my sixth form English students preferred the songs of Slade. So here it is, Merry Christmas, everybody's having fun. Look to the future now, it's only just begun. And here I must say that my Christmas is never complete without Slade, whatever others might say. And still I didn't know it. Still I couldn't see. Still the blind assumption that poems were interest-free. Still the boyhood feeling that the masters held the key, that proper poems were not meant for ordinary folk like me, yet still I heard it whispered, poetry is at the heart of what it means to be alive. So I made another start on this newly published poem. Once more, Mr. Dence. Of this arty-farty poem I could make no bloody sense. I simply felt bewildered, lost in a puzzling maze, all progress thwarted by each literary dead-end phrase, whose ultimate solution seemed restricted to the kind of reader who possesses the literary mind. Each bloody word I understood, but not when put together. It made me bloody angry, bloody wondering whether I had a bloody brain at all, Mr. Bloody Thick, and my bloody mind returned once more to that bloody painful stick. And as I started swearing, I knew I'd found the key. From the language of the masters, with one bound I was free. Free of all our teachers who'd buggered up our heads, whose attitude to poetry was the heart of being dead, who keep the grand tradition, refusing to be swayed from civilizing authors who help us make the grade, whose love of classic poets leaves me unimpressed, if using them to sort us as poor, average, better, best. Who would sort this Sunday poem, know its referential histories, explain to us its meanings, like priests speak of their mysteries. Free because I understood, free because I saw that it's ordinary lives upon which poetry must draw, with ordinary language used in special ways, of ordinary feelings on ordinary days. But wait, thank you, classic poets, for your rhythms and your rhymes. Let's keep this grand tradition alive for modern times, times when such are frowned on as childish stuff, mere play, but times, if I might make so bold, when poetry's lost its way. And I ask myself this question: is it really such a crime for people to engage with the vigour of rhythm and rhyme? Thank God, therefore, for Eminem in his trusty rapmobile, charging to the rescue, shouting, "Rhythm and rhyme are real." Just remember what I tell you as this foul-mouthed, blonde-haired youth. Whatever you write, whatever you say, make sure it is your truth, and know that honest clarity's the only sure morality, avoiding the barbarity of populist vulgarity. Poetry's our birthright. Let's win it back to be the heartbeat of our living, our emotional ABC. Let poems sing of everything, of matters great and small, from grain of sand to universe, of anything at all. Let's feel it for its rhythm. Let's hear it for its rhyme. Let's sing it for its music. Let's share it all the time till hearts and minds and bodies by poetry are enchanted. Arise, arise, lift up your souls. Poetry license granted.